But only the peace and nuclear disarmament movement really has the potential at this time to inflame the passions of the young and bring them out on the streets in the same numbers as the moratoriums of the 60s. Once again, the government's ANOP Youth Survey reflects that concern. The belief that nuclear war could happen in their lifetimes, the survey says, adds to young people's feelings of uncertainty and insecurity. 73% are very concerned about the possibility of nuclear war. 63% believe nuclear war is likely in their lifetime.
And we must specifically address the very real concern of many of our youth and do everything in our power to ensure that they do not inherit a world over which hangs the spectre of nuclear war.
But for many young people, Bob Hawke is just another old man, linked in some way to the geriatric superpower leaders slugging it out in this current pop clip. For young people like Scott and Philippa, the credibility of past and present governments on the peace issue is questionable.
Well, I think it's something that is affecting all young people. I mean, it's affecting their future. And it's something that they're very much aware of. And it's also very frightening.
Yeah, the thing is, it's our future. And there's
it's everyone's future, really.
But I mean, it's our world that we're going to have to live in that will be running tomorrow. And, or even someone of your age, you know. And there's these two 70-year-old men, one from Russia and one from America, who are, and they're, you know, 50-year-old and 60-year-old sidekicks who are running the world and building these arms to keep us all in line. And I just think it's really obscene that there's that threat even there, and I don't want my life cut short.
Well, what does this election mean to you?
It means the coming of Peter Garrett to save the youth.
The coming of Peter Garrett will test that concern through the ballot box. Rock Singer Garrett is number one on the Nuclear Disarmament Party's New South Wales Senate ticket, and he's appealing directly to the young. In a long, dull campaign, Garrett has been a splash of colour. Whatever he does seems to become a media event.
How many people have been working for the cause of peace for how many years in this city? How many people who are members of the Labor Party are vehemently opposed to the party's policy on uranium mining on the basis? Hundreds and thousands of people. How many people's hearts have been broken by going and marching on the streets and voting in a party that went and did the dirty on them?
What can one person do in Parliament anyway?
We're not talking about one person, we're talking about a political party that has a seat in the Senate which stands for one particular thing and doesn't have any intention of compromising itself on it.
But what power does it have as one seat in the Senate?
Oh, you tell me that. What power do you think it has? It depends on what the makeup of the Senate is, I would guess, is the answer to that question.
That single issue is still the biggest question mark over both Garrett and the NDP. The party's surge in the polls has given them a strong chance of picking up Senate seats. The polling shows that Labor is the big loser, and the government is fighting a desperate backburning operation to stop that swing.
But it is a wasted vote in that ultimately it is only governments which can make decisions and use influence in international forums. What have they got to say about employment and unemployment? What have they got to say about economic management? These issues which will determine the real welfare of the Australian citizens.
Soviet Union and the United States have manufactured weapons of war which are never to be used, which can't be used, and yet they are planned as military operations. Because what's happened is they've built these beasts, but we don't have any idea about what they look like. We can't actually conceive that they would have spent money on them. We don't really understand how many of them there are, and we don't understand what they can do. I think we also don't understand what we, Australian people, have got to do about it.
Do you think that by joining the Senate, speaking up for world peace with a man of your reputation, that you're getting people who are a bit shy or don't want to know about it, encouraging them to speak out? And if so, what can we do to stop the government sort of passing this on as just another rock and roll star and just someone that wants a bit of attention?
Gee, yeah, what a good question. I think that it's only going to be the cynical press who will view it as a rock and roll star who wants to get attention. The first part of your question is, yeah, I really hope that people are going to stand up. I really hope that people are going to come out, and I really hope that young people are going to get involved, because at the moment, the nuclear madness is something which is imposed on us from above. It's not something which we had any decision about. It's not something which we actually actively chose to happen. It has happened to us. It has been done to us. We must undo it. And I think that everyone has got the power to undo it, and so I hope that other people will get up and get excited and talk a lot, because I am.
Thanks, Al.
Can you really imagine yourself as Senator Peter Garrett?
No. Yes, I can, but not as Senator Peter Garrett. You know, I don't, once again, I can see myself continuing to do this, and I want to do it, otherwise I wouldn't have accepted the offer, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, but I'm not visualising myself waltzing around like a senator. I won't even accept the title, I don't think.
How would you behave in the actual House itself?
Same way as I behave everywhere else. And if you want a description of that, you'll have to come to a Midnight Oil concert. Wouldn't that be outrageous?
Nuclear disarmament, like the campaign to save the Franklin Dam last time around, has become the glamour issue of this election. But despite Garrett's tremendous appeal to the young, neither he nor his party have addressed the most devastating domestic issue for the young, and that remains unemployment.
I mean, I'd be kidding myself if I thought that the dispossessed, I've got anything more in common with the dispossessed than, say, for example, you know, a middle-class business person. I mean, I'm a successful rock and roll performer.
Well, round our way, we ain't got a lot. But after 2 years on the dole, I felt I've been left to rot.
Here in Wollongong, the overall unemployment rate is about 15%. Predictably, it's much worse for the young. The official unemployment rate for 15 to 19-year-olds is 28%, but university estimates put that figure at closer to 40%. And in response to that,
And the neurotics want to tell you what it's like to be unemployed, out of work, unemployed, out of work.
Wollongong's young unemployed are starting to get politically active.
Unemployed, out of work, unemployed, 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 unemployed. Try to stay out of trouble, dear.
Wollongong is no stranger to union militancy, and in the savage economic conditions here, it's no surprise to find a militant union of the unemployed. What is surprising is that the Wollongong Out of Workers Union is run by the young unemployed. It's run by young people who are prepared to fight for what they see as the rights of the unemployed.
As you know, my husband has been unemployed for 4 years and he's been looking for work on a regular basis, and earlier this year he was able to find some part-time or casual work at Shellharbour Technical College, and he earned $547, and we declared it to Social Security, and they deducted $337 from our unemployment checks. And then we filled in our tax form, and now the taxation people are asking for $123 because we earned the $547. So we went to the taxation people and tried to reason with them, stating that Social Security already deducted their $337, and they wouldn't listen to us. And so we had to write an appeal to the taxation office, and they're still asking for their $123.
We've been told by the tax office that it will take 4 years for them to look into that case, 4 years. During that time, they'll still owe the money to the tax department, plus they'll be getting 20% interest put on it per annum. The only way we can see anything coming out of this is for the Treasurer to step in at the top level and just say, wipe it out. And it's quite within his rights to do it. They can even get one of his directors to do it, and that's what we're asking for. And we've made it quite clear to them that that's what we want, and we won't accept anything less than that.
Since Four Corners filmed in Wollongong, the Social Security Department has readjusted the Tissot's bill to $90, but the union is still considering stronger action.
Well, yes, that's what we should discuss. Maybe the union should consider taking action such as it did last year.
Last year's action was in support of a local unemployed man with 6 children who'd received a $1,900 tax bill on his unemployment benefits. Union members crossed the road and occupied the manager's office of the Social Security building, demanding a meeting with the Minister, Don Grimes. After 4 hours, the Minister agreed to meet them. The next day, they were given a commitment that extra Social Security benefits for children would no longer be taxed.
Well, WOW was set up as an apolitical organisation, but as we took on the struggle of unemployed people's rights, we found ourselves in the political arena because the people we had to deal with were politicians, people in government departments and that sort of thing, yeah.
Would it be fair to say that some people in Wollongong would perhaps see you as radicals?
Oh, I'm quite sure some people would see us as radicals. I mean, people are seen as radicals when they stand up and defend their rights. And as an extremely oppressed section of the community, we have to stand up much harder than a lot of people, and therefore we're seen as radical.
As part of their high public profile, the union produces a monthly newspaper, The Gong, which is financed by donations from both local unions and the public. The newspaper focuses on the welfare and rights of the unemployed. The union's commitment to the unemployed doesn't stop at demonstrations and newspapers. Using Commonwealth Employment Program funds, 2 of their members run a food cooperative, with vegetables provided at cost by a local wholesaler. The aim is quite simply to provide the unemployed, pensioners and low-income earners with cheap food.
WOW has built up a lot on just day-to-day what's happening, the struggles we encounter, the defeats, the setbacks, the positive things that happen to us, the support we receive. It depends on a lot of things. If unemployment stays at the rate it is or even grows in Wollongong, I would expect that our union would grow stronger and be better, a better representative of the unemployed as we learn from our experiences.
There are already moves too towards a national union of unemployed. How do you feel about those sort of movements?
Well, I think that's a very positive move. If the unemployed can be represented by a national organisation, it gives us a lot more power, it gives us a lot more say. Oh!